Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome to a new chapter, a new class here. And what the hell? How does this school metaphor work? Welcome back to
A
Amabel
unit?
Goes to Forex School for a new unit.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, a new unit on Jon Shafer's At the Gates. So this has been a long time coming. Before we get into it, I want to talk about the history of this game a little bit, because when we start playing it, you're going to notice some stuff right away. I want to give us all a little grounding. So this game was made by a person called Jon Shafer. In case that was not obvious, he's at the gates. There's nothing we can do. Nobody can stop him. Jon Shafer was the lead designer of Civilization 5, a video game that came out in 2010. After Civilization 5, he left Paradox, which seems to be a trend. People lead the production of a Civ game and then they're like sick of the place. And so he bounced over to Stardock for a while, where he worked on like Elemental or something. He worked on some whatever. It doesn't matter. He left Stardock as well and was like, hey, listen, making strategy games at big companies is a real pain. It's all the dependencies, all of the complications. I want to try to do it myself. So he ran a Kickstarter. He threw up a Kickstarter and he was like, I'm gonna make this game that is in kind of the 4X space. But I got my own ideas and I want your money. And it sort of worked. I would call it a qualified success. He raised like $100,000. I put money in that pile. I was curious. But $100,000 is not make a video game money, right? Even by yourself, that's not make a video game money. Like, it ended up taking him. So the game came out in 2019.
Okay.
The Kickstarter ran in 2012 or 2013. So, divide those numbers however you like. It does not equal lunch, much less dinner.
Yeah.
So
Jon Shafer's on his way to the gates.
Jon Shafer took a long time to get to the gates, and in that time, he ended up having to get other employment, which is part of the reason the story goes that the game took so long to come out, because he did start working for Paradox as a full-timer partway through this process. And then developing his own video game nights and weekends, and that's just like, what a nightmare, right? So the game does formally release January of 2019, after like 7 years in development, and it has some interesting ideas. It has some interesting ideas in the space. I put it next to Total War Warhammer in the classes, because it has some interesting ideas in this space of like, not everybody is a player playing the same game in the way that like Civ or Endless Legend or whatever tries to present to you a fair game that everyone is winning like it's a board game or everyone is competing in like it's a board game or something. This game has less of that. There are many forces that are just doing their own things. But it's not really totally functional at launch, as you might expect. And so he keeps working on it. He's banging away. He's ripping out systems kind of whole and replacing them with new things. And the last time the game was updated was June 25th, 2020. So he kept that process up for about 18 months. And that last update leaves the game, to my understanding, based on his words, leaves the game partway through a major overhaul to the diplomacy systems. So there's kind of just some unfinished design hanging off of the end of the game. And so all of that is to say that this game was in development forever, came out, and then was worked on for another 18 months, but you are still going to see a game that I would argue is in a kind of an unfinished state.
This is so fascinating to me, because
video games are very fucking hard. Like,
sure,
this guy ran one of the largest and most complex video game projects, it is mechanically speaking in history, right? Civ games are huge and very dense, especially like 5 and 6, I would argue. And even he like actually put to the task himself. He was like, actually, it's impossible. Actually, no one can make a video game.
Yeah. So, but like, you have this model in video games where things are released kind of like in rough states and will be patched later, or they're having systems ripped out and replaced.
That's more or less true at different times of video game development. We are probably living in, I would say, the worst period for things being just pushed out onto the audience fully unfinished with the promise that I'll get it later.
Whereas, I come from board game publishing, where we can't do that.
Yeah,
We
for a
really
number of
aren't
reasons.
allowed to do that. If we do, people will yell at us a lot.
Yeah, and also the logistical cost of seriously updating a board game is considerable. The logistical cost of seriously updating a board game is on order with just producing a new board game.
And it's also really kind of fascinating to me in terms of with video games. Then you have this thing where, what is the quote unquote object? What is the finished game? If systems are being ripped out and replaced, what is the work? And it's really a more open question with video games than it ever is with board games. And I find that really interesting.
Yeah, and I think
I'm excited to see this.
I think that with Jon Shafer's At the Gates, I think you have a really clear example of how the work is almost more of like a philosophical argument about how strategy games should be shaped more than it is a strategy game itself.
Okay, I mean, I'm into that.
So I thought this would be a good fit for you particularly, and also I just think it's like a sort of an interesting curio in the history of the genre. I played this game when it came out because, like I said, I did kickstart it. I have very little memory of it, and I have intentionally not refreshed myself. We're just gonna apparently we're playing as the Goths. We must have to unlock the other ones. You must either form an alliance with its leader or conquer its capital while playing as a different faction. So, Amabel, you have a lot more historical knowledge than I do, and these names in general probably mean a lot more to you than they do to me. I know a little bit of the Goths, the Huns, the Franks, the Slavs, the Picts even. Some of this is not meaningful to me. But yeah, this is kind of a vague idea here of a time.
Yeah, I mean, these are all more or less Germanic peoples of like, especially active in like the late Roman Empire, what we think of as the fall of the Roman Empire, though that's a historiographically complicated terminology.
So I guess my guess is that this game did not have cloud saves enabled when I played it before or something, and so like my actual save is on a different computer. Because I was not using this computer then, certainly not these hard drives. But we're playing as Alaric of the Goths, starting with 100 treasure instead of the default 40 treasure. We're going to play on normal because I don't know how the game works. It seems like the only scaler is how much food people eat. Each clan family consumes 1 food per turn. This is a game that has very nice nested tooltips. This might be the first game that I saw do nested tooltips this well. So fucking good on Jon Shafer for that.
I enjoyed this part of Jon Shafer's At the Gates.
It's very clean. Sid Meier's Jon Shafer's At the Gates, please. Jon Shafer's he's trying so hard to get through those gates. He wants to. He made it to the end, and everybody's out there, and he's like, no, nobody help me. I'm going to make it. Okay. So I have received an error message that says, he's dead, Jim. At the Gates has crashed. And it's a full stack trace. Turns out the XNA framework ran out of memory. We're just going to relaunch the video game.
Okay.
Out of memory.
That's
That seems unlikely to be the case. All right, new game. The Goths. Go. Maybe we're not going to play Jon Shafer's at the gates. I have my system. I have my system resources monitor up on the other screen, just making sure that I'm not the source of the problem. I'm not. Everything's fine. Okay, welcome to At the Gates.
Can you share it with me again, please?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the crashed. Oh, right, Discord is not aware that the game is happening again. Here you go. Sorry.
That's okay.
Tabbing out of the game to share it with you crashed it. One more time. One more time. We got this. It's easy. The thing about video games is that they are simple and easy to operate and to do work related to.
This is going to be my favorite episode of Forex School.
Normal. Go.
How many crashes do you think we're going to have for the end of this episode?
Service games. They make the hedgehogs. I'll tell you, the number is the number that we have already had plus up to one more. Oh, and there it is. So it turns out I can't do this way. Hold on. I have an idea.
Okay.
Okay, we have rerouted this. We have retexted the way the video is getting to Amabel. Let's see if this works. New game, The Goths, normal, go.
You know, it makes sense it keeps crashing when you were showing it to me via Discord, because look how beautiful this title screen is. How graphically intensive. I really like it, actually. I think it's a really nice look. I'm not trying to be shitty. It just
Okay. I want everyone to know that she started to say that before. Nope, that also crashed it. Okay.
Is this the whole episode?
I want everyone to know that she tried to say that before. She started to, and then she said, "No, wait, hold on a second. I'll wait till we're recording because this is funny." I want everybody to know that that's what she thought was so funny that she needed to save it for all of you. Okay. I mean, that does create a little bit of a problem, right? Where the video game don't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have another thought.
Okay.
Okay, we are officially giving this one more try. We have now rearranged the entire house. Amabel and I are in the same room, looking at the same monitor. No additional software. This is the first time we've ever done it this way, and I don't know. My computer is not happy about it. All right, the Goths. Would you say something so that they?
Yeah. I'm here, and I think the game now has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
Wedge itself sideways in the Panama Canal. Jon Shafer.
There's a loading bar. It's not moving much.
No, it sure did. It sure did immediately stop moving.
But I mean, this is like it immediately crashed before. So, hey,
Okay.
this looks like a game.
All right, before we go any further, I will mention, not that it means anything right now, the way we had to set this up. Amabel currently does not have audio, so if something significant happens in the audio track, I'll have to tell her. Aside from that, I think things are okay. So here's the deal. What to do on the first turn. Your first order of business is deciding which of your 3 clans to train in what profession. We suggest starting with an explorer. Next, you need to choose a tech to begin studying. We suggest starting with agriculture. These are decisions you'll be making often. This is all you need to do on the first turn, though next turn you'll have a shiny new unit, ready to begin exploring or harvesting resources from the map. The most important task you need to address will always be displayed in the glowing button in the upper right corner of the world screen.
I think you misread that. I think it says, do you need a shiny AA unit?
What?
Go back one?
I literally can't do that.
Wow, okay. Keep going. Never mind then.
Remember that you can read these tips again at any time by pressing thing from the world screen. Click to learn more about what to do on the first turn continued. I mean, I guess so. High-level goals in the first few turns of the game are reveal the map around you. Yeah, makes sense, in order to find abandoned ruins and resources. Training clans as foragers in order to harvest resources. My 2 favorite of the X's.
Yes.
For the most part, you can use the map to guide your strategic decisions. Whatever resource deposits are available nearby should become the foundation of your economy, as even things you don't need can be traded for. At the very least, you'll want a hunter, gatherer, or reaper soon before winter's chill takes hold. So this is a big thing, a big motivation. I've heard him talk about this game on 3 or 4 different strategy game podcasts over the years, because I am like pretty interested in what he was going for and what went wrong. And I know that like as recently as last year, I heard him on a podcast saying he does want to finish it. It's just like at this point it's sort of like a psychic wound for him, like going back to it is not easy. And also it's just like he's busy. He's trying to feed himself. He's got a job and he's doing that work. And okay, and then there's like basic game rules and stuff. There is essentially here he has a civilopedia kind of thing, and I appreciate that, a game encyclopedia. We're gonna not with that right now. Let's just touch stuff.
But what's winter's chill?
It's because it's winter. Oh right. So sorry. I'm sorry. I got distracted from the thing that I was distracted by. From the thing I was distracted by. There are seasons. The game has a seasonal flow. But this was one of the main impetuses for him to starting this project in the first place, was he was really interested in pursuing this idea of the changing of seasons and the way certain resources get less abundant during the seasons. And Firaxis, at Firaxis, they were like, dude, we don't have space for that in Civ. Like, that's just not a thing we can handle. It just couldn't fit into the Civ workflow. But so that's like, it's starting to tinker with that idea on his own time was like the genesis of this project.
I mean, that makes so much sense though, because that's such a lot of the problems I have with the modeling in like Civ is not having room for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Can I drag this around? No, I cannot. Okay, I can. It's a scroll bar.
Okay.
There's a hidden scroll bar. Okay, so these are our knowledges. Honor leads to hunters. Agriculture leads to reapers and gatherers. Livestock has to do with livestock. You know. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's so much. Okay, I see what you're doing here, John. So, with absolutely no idea, discovery. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Looking around seems important.
Yeah.
Discovery is going to give us access to explorers.
No, I will say the tutorial said to do agriculture, but I like that you're just saying, I'm going to do this thing I want anyway.
The tutorial said to do explorers.
For the knowledge screen? Or this is the training? Okay.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay.
This is how we get them. So we train clan in profession. So we have 3 clans here, and they each have 2 traits. Clan Redulf is perceptive, but demanding. Their likelihood of having desires is tripled, and they immediately become angry if a desire has yet to be granted, and they are obsessed with every desire. They might engage in a feud with a clan on the same tile.
All right, tooltip.
Okay, well, you tried. Clan Herrick, which is 4. Okay, Clan Herrick has some numbers built up. I don't know what this number is.
Honor.
Oh, okay. They have honor 4 as a discipline, I see. So they are dutiful, which causes them to start with 4 levels in honor. They have no experience gain in discovery at all, ever, I guess. They never have desires, though, and they will never engage in a feud. However, they are likely to be upset within a year if forced into a profession outside of honor, and they will never engage in brawls, parentheses, crime. Because as we know, clans with certain traits can sometimes commit a crime. This doesn't have any tangible effect other than making all other clans on that tile unhappy. The negative effects of having committed one or more crimes can be eliminated by punishing the offending clan. Another option is to plan ahead and actively shuffle potentially troublesome clans off into active professions that are away from the other clans. Okay, so these guys want to be on some honor stuff. I see. And Almond, their deal is they're squeamish. Their morale is halved. Their training time is doubled in livestock. Their experience gain in livestock is halved. Their likelihood of it having desires is halved. And as we all know, squeamish people do not commit crimes.
Why do you look at me when you said that?
Just can't happen. That's that's like a teamwork thing. I'm kind of like throwing to you for a response. And if you were, interested in putting on a show here, that would be the time to.
I am okay. Hang on. So I find this really interesting because I think another problem I have with a lot of the 4X model is, not modeling the kind of internecine nature of politics, the kind of internal strifes, and that's something that you showed me a game. The city building game with the storms. I don't remember the name of
Against the Storm.
Against the Storm. And I like that they did that with like their desires, their traits, and whatnot. And I have been eager to see something like that in a 4X game. I guess to a degree you get that with some of the endless games, with some of the different.
Like endless space with the different populations having different political desires, and like struggling against each other for control of the government.
But you don't really get this kind of detail, certainly in like the Civ kind of games that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate. I also really appreciate that. And there, as I can tell, we all are just like we are tribal peoples, which are a civilization and often are treated as non-people in a lot of ways by some of these games as barbarians. Sort of so I really like this.
You can see civilization trying to get away from that.
Slowly. Clumsily.
Yeah. So they are also fastidious. Training times in general are doubled, and resource production is increased by half. Resource production from constructed structures also increased by half. They have +1 power and +1 move point. Power being the combat resource. Yeah. One army with double the power of another will beat it up pretty good, but not quite kill it. Is a sort of a short guide to how power works. So these folks are unhappy because they're sullen. Their mood is never better than. We didn't even. We looked at their dutiful. We didn't look at the fact that they're sullen. Their mood is never better than upset. Their experience gain in all disciplines is halved. But they'll never engage in a feud, because if you could do something to them, they'll just kick rocks about it, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, man. Clan Almonds at it again. I hate those guys. Shucks. Okay, let's train a clan in a profession. These people want to be hunters, right? They want to be somewhere in the honor disciplines, right? How different is a hunter from, like, if I train you as a hunter, hunters can harvest meat by moving onto any tile containing an animal herd and foraging. They can identify unidentified animals, and they're the first warrior profession. As opposed to if we were to train you as an explorer, you can cross terrain easily, you can explore deserted locations. So this is a thing that different 4X games differ on a little bit. In some games, it's very common for there to be this idea of like ruins, little resource boosts that you can pick up that just encourage you to be more wide-ranging in exploring the map early.
Yeah.
In some games, you need to have a dedicated person for interacting with that kind of thing, right? Northgard, only scouts can pick up ruins. But in most games, any unit you have that happens across them can pick them up. It's just that your explorer is like a quarter the cost of any kind of military unit you can build. And so you probably don't have military units yet. Do you have any particular thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like that's solving an interesting problem, forcing it to be some kind? I always feel like it seems like a little bit of it seems like a little bit of extra unnecessary restriction to me. I'll make this guy a hunter.
Make him a hunter. Yeah. That's a good question, because like how do you how a game handles the exploration. A lot of it is, it always seems to be like moving a unit to an area, sending out a scout or explorer, and I guess that's kind of the way it works. But it's interesting the ways in which this space modulates between the big picture and very granular things where you're kind of micromanaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely would. Okay, what happened?
You did not get to hear the hup, 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 hup sound of this unit being produced. Okay, so Clan Arndt, who is thorough but filthy, has joined our tribe. Might very rarely engage in a mild feud if there's another clan on the same tile due to their filthiness.
All right.
Training time is increased by half, but their experience gained is tripled. They're thorough. They're going to do it the right way, Amabel. So, okay. This is a logging. So this is us here with all of our clans and everything on the same tile. This is a wheat farm belonging to the Scythians with 3 archers and a farmer on it. 3 clans? It's 4 different clans.
But
3 of them trained as archers. Yeah.
All right, we should employ the other clans.
Loggers and stuff. Over here, we got a bunch more archers. This is a settlement. And here we get crossed swords. These people are. This is a bandits. The bandits of Clan Pepin. All right, let's take this hunter out for a walk. So we have 3 movement points and 2 power. And you know how movement points work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So entering a forest costs all movement points to enter. Gives 1 supply from terrain. So the idea of supply on the tiles, has to do with your units. They run out of resources if you range too far from home. It can be dangerous to.
Okay.
Okay, well, it turns out over here it's nothing. Over here it's ain't nothing. Okay, so let's study a new profession. We learned about explorers and stuff, and theoretically we can learn about explorer upgrades. We can spend 5 horses to give our explorers bonus movement, or 5 weapons to give our explorers bonus power. And now that we have access to that, we can try to learn about other exploratory type things. Obviously, we know how to do hunting already, so if we go up to honor, we can potentially learn about more violence. It's a little bit of a shame not to have any sense of like what's going on resource-wise yet. We're just kind of guessing. I don't know. What do you think? Agriculture or livestock?
Agriculture.
Okay. So, it's worth noting, learning this tech allows you to study new professions and upgrades in the field. Once finished, it also provides you a one-time opportunity to give a settled clan 2 free levels in agriculture, reducing the number of turns needed to train it in professions within that discipline. So I believe we have such a benefit right now from Explorer. So the question is, who do we want to be our exploring clan? These guys, with their filthiness, them not being at home, certainly could make some sense.
And they'll search thoroughly.
The fastidious folks get +1 move point, which is something for your explorers, right? Perceptive, +1 vision range. And these guys, I think, also might engage with in feuds. So it feels to me like Arndt and Redolf, and they all have things to recommend them. We know these guys don't want to be working livestock. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Get those filthy jerks out of here.
Okay. Hey, you guys. What if you tried to learn to explore? Okay, it is going to take them 3 turns. And then the settlement is idle. So click this button to choose a profession to train one of your clans in. This is one of 2 approaches for doing so, and ideal when you either already have a profession picked out, or when you don't have anything in mind yet and want to explore your option. The other approach is by first choosing who to train. Okay, yeah. We can switch up clan's discipline with this button, or we can give our settlement the command to produce treasure and fame. Performing this action means you won't be able to train this turn. Just +1 treasure and +1 fame per clan that is in the settlement. And presumably those things are good and matter. So we were talking a little bit in the break about development times.
Yeah.
Because you were saying like $100,000, it seems like a lot to you. Oh good, we've met Attila of the Huns. Nothing bad has ever happened to anybody after meeting Attila of the Huns. Oh, apparently I found a button that allows me to attach a note to a tile. Okay, I was just kind of curious if we could see through that. So it looks like there's a whole lot of nothing going on out here. I guess skip it. We're going to scout to the north. I kind of want to get away from all these people.
Right.
We get new clans joining us constantly. Clan Geisbert has shown up with the logger trait. They're likely to get upset if they are forced into a profession outside of crafting. And they are reserved. Their training time is doubled in social professions, and they don't get as much experience from them, but they never have desires or engage in feuds. And they hate brawling. And they don't say words. I get it, that's cute. We have met Attila of the Huns. Let's see what's happening. Give leader reply. If you know what's good for you, you'll offer me a token of your appreciation. Well, Amabel, what have you to say to this haughty, vindictive pagan?
I mean...
He has no friends and 4 enemies. We don't know most of his enemies. Or is this is not us, right? This is him. I hope those are his stats. I don't want to have 4 enemies. Very well, give treasure. Very well, give food. So we have 9 food right now. We are currently paying 0.1 food per turn to each of our clans. And since we had another clan joined, we're losing half of food per turn. So I feel like giving him 5 of our food is like very dangerous.
Do you want to give him treasure?
We started with a bunch of bonus treasure. Yeah, maybe it's probably the case that he could stomp on us.
Attila the Hun, if I remember correctly, did enjoy treasure.
Yeah, you can have 10. You can have 10 treasure. I don't know what else we started with all this treasure for, right? Why would we not give treasure? Your global reputation is -1. I think everybody thinks we're a pushover. Well, they're right. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are doing your thing. We need to study another profession. So we picked up the basics of agriculture and now have the ability to specialize further into farming and winemaking and whatnot. We still don't really know what we're going to want to do because we chose a dead-end peninsula for our initial explorations. So, I don't know. We have these guys who want to be crafters.
Okay.
Maybe we figure out something about crafting. It looks like some combat happened north of... Or is that our 10 treasure being lost? I think that was our 10 treasure being lost.
Okay. I will say that the presentation of this game is very...
Yeah.
It reminds me of, like, Flash games I played.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't mean that it's certainly... If you had told me this came out, like, in 2000 or 2010, I would not have been surprised. 2019 is...
Okay, so that's...
I'm not trying to be mean or anything.
Well, you're doing a great job of it.
It has a certain charm to
these
it.
are graphics that would have been possible in a much earlier age, certainly.
Yeah.
But the resolution's high and everything looks very clean.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I'm not being
are you part of the problem? Are you part of the graphics card industrial process?
No, I'm not.
Thank you for cutting me off because I was ruining that joke. What is it?
Okay.
Complex. Complex is the last word. The
Right.
graphics card industrial complex. All right. You'll be mostly interacting with your clans, which start inside your settlement and can be trained in various professions, some of which allow them to move around the map as units. The more clans you have, the more you'll be able to do, but also the more food your tribe will consume. New clans will arrive every few turns at a rate determined by how much fame you're generating. Resources are harvested from map deposits and dense forests by foragers, and later in the game by more efficient and expensive structures. Deposits eventually run out, so you'll need to continuously find new ones, at least until you're able to construct highly advanced stone block-based structures which last forever. Each turn represents half a month. Eventually, it will become winter. Most sources of food cease production during the cold months, so make sure to have enough food saved up before it starts getting chilly. Winter is usually around 10 turns long, so try to have at least that amount. Okay, so that's honestly it feels very Northgard.
Yeah.
There's basic warfare a little bit here.
Okay.
So, yeah, warriors have power. Defenders can receive bonuses for the terrain they're on or for having dug in over multiple turns. Health starts at 100, and if it reaches 0, a unit dies. As it drops, it also lowers a unit's power. Avoiding health loss is especially important on long campaigns, as units don't automatically recover health, can only do so in the settlement by spending oil and cloth. Morale is similar to a health, except that it recovers. This is one of them healths. It recovers automatically each turn. Attacking units lose more health in combat, while defenders lose more morale. The goal of the attacker is to reduce the defender's morale to 0, which causes them to chaotically retreat from their tile, lose any defensive bonuses they had, and lose a huge amount of health as they flee.
Okay.
Another important factor to consider is supply. Each tile provides a certain amount automatically, which drops during the winter, and when without supply for more than one turn, a unit will lose morale and health. Encamping temporarily provides a unit with supply, but makes it extremely vulnerable to attack, so plan your campaigns carefully.
Yeah, I want to say I do like the look of the game. It's just...
It's just you're being very snobby about it.
I'm not being snobby.
So,
I mean, if I had $100,000, it would not look this good.
listen, I know what your games look like. I know what games with your art style look like, because a lot of your games have your art in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you think about that, that idea of the attacker loses more health, the defender loses more morale, and these campaigning things as you're seeing them presented here, obviously, just kind of at a very high level with no experience behind them. These are more similar to...
These are the kind of things I would expect to see maybe in kind of my space, the kind of board war game space.
Yeah.
And, still a very simplified model, but one that... Because so often people treat health and morale as... I don't know, I really like that distinction where, especially for this type of warfare, the attacker's losing more health and the defender more morale, because that seems to fits. That seems right. It's like a nice little choice that evokes something about the nature of the combat, and that's the kind of thing that I like in these sort of games, in the games that I make and the games that I play, and so seeing it here, I already like this a little better than some of the other stuff we've seen.
Okay, so wood bundlers increase the production of your wood collectors, but training them requires tools. Now, you know what? I'll just say one thing that I definitely kind of remember. Come on, tooltip me. Horses, okay. One thing that I kind of remember is thinking the tools are very important. Seeing the word tools in that tooltip, sparked a memory for me. It's I think a lot of things require tools to upgrade. Yeah. Whence? Tools are needed to train many settled civilian professions and are required by many upgrades. They are forged from iron by a blacksmith. Okay. I'm gonna
Metalworking
maybe
next.
we pick up a level of metalworking while we're waiting for our explorers to finish training. Because I remember feeling like tools were super, super important. Is there a way, I wonder? Let me when our turn comes back around here, let me see if I can actually turn on the display of the grid. Because it's a little hard
Yeah.
for me to eyeball exactly where the spaces are here. Okay. That's not exactly what I want. This is just like a notepad. You can write short notes to yourself. Well, isn't that lovely? Is there an option? The options menu is very sparse. Man, maybe you can't do this. Maybe there is no button for the thing I want. Ooh, track your progress towards winning the game. So, victory progress. Once you have sufficient resources, you may send clans to Rome to be trained as Roman legions. Performing this action results in the clan you chose disappearing from the map for 24 turns, after which it reappears in your settlement in its new role. Once you have 5 legions, you may use them to claim the title of Magister Militum, which is one way of winning the game. That's fascinating. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because being Magister, I mean, essentially, especially if I'm thinking about the period that I'm thinking about, that's the guy who runs Rome. The Emperor is kind of a puppet.
Yeah, it's whoever can exercise the military might is that's literally how power works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna. You guys have learned 2 levels of metalworking discipline. Why not? So we have our explorer here. I'm sure that's supposed to be like a pack that he's wearing around his waist or something, but the animation for him walking up did kind of look like his ass was just out. And
Well.
then we have our hunter, who is also exploring. Okay, so I see animals and stuff. Some kind of unidentified mineral here. These are within an area. Somebody's border, perhaps? All right, the settlement is idle. So we have some people who can gather wood. I just didn't have them out logging. But like if we do this, construct a logging camp. Cannot construct right now because you need move points. Okay. Fair enough. We also have this agriculture family, but they need something to build on, right? To do their farming.
maybe.
I can put notes down on a lot of things, which is, I guess, nice. Okay, construct farms on plants and apiaries on beehives. So right now we don't have. Oh no, there's plant right there, and it's within our control. This blue area is ours. You can see because when we mouse over it down to the lower right, it says we're getting +2 supply here because it is under our control.
Gotcha.
So even though there's lots of people who seem not to be our people, and in fact, there are bandits. It seems like we can maybe send a farmer. I'm gonna send a farmer out to this location,
Okay.
and we'll use our hunters to defend him if need be. Okay, so there's 2 clans left in the settlement. And what do you think we need? So a digger can harvest mineral resources. We do have some minerals. And we gave these guys some profession, some discipline in metalworking, so they should be able to train very quickly. And study a profession. So blacksmiths are the ones who make the tools.
Right.
I feel like I want to get on top of that.
Yeah.
Do we need okay, so harvesters increase the production of gatherers and reapers. So we're gonna turn our guy into a reaper, right? A reaper is people who produce wheat when foraging on a field of wheat. Do we want to maybe learn about bread making? They consume timber, but they increase your production of wheat and barley. I like this sort of at a glance, here's what it will cost and here's what you'll get
Yeah.
kind of display. Farmers can construct farms out of timber or stone blocks, which allow you to get more stuff than foraging with a gatherer or a reaper. Theoretically, that's a location that's within our territory. So if we make a wheat farm, we'll gather stuff more efficiently. I guess I'm going to learn about farming.
Okay. It's interesting.
I don't really know what I'm doing here, to be clear.
And that's interesting to me because
This game does not feel like other games in the genre to me.
And I know you have played it before.
Yeah.
But, this is the first time in Forex School, I think, where you're showing me a thing where it basically feels new to you.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see you kind of unsure of where to go because of the ways in which the game is different, and because of there's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of units in other games, but these are it feels quite different.
Yeah, the way your people apply themselves to economics, the way your people are applied to economics and agriculture and stuff is very simplified in a lot of these games. So some combat happened there.
Okay.
These guys attacked and the bandit was driven off. We have horse archers from Clan Rock standing in the burning wreckage, and the bandits are just feeling horrible. The enemy has .1 defense tower due to being all fucked up and currently fleeing. We just run over there and show them who's boss.
Okay, yeah, why don't we do that? So we get some...
Yeah, animations. Got some combat XP and star. Star is some kind of points. Score. General indicator of how well your game is going. Okay. This here is our fame, then I will assume. No, this is our prestige. This is different. As your prestige grows, you will acquire diplomatic emissaries. You automatically produce a small amount of prestige each turn unless you are dressed of the Picts. It feels like that is... it feels like that's a joke. It feels like a historical humor to me.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar.
It's obviously they just mean literally. The Picts are a clan you can play as, but it feels a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You can acquire more by training clans in the consul profession. And then treasure you use to purchase resources from caravans and give to people as gifts, as we well know. We acquired some food. We're still losing a lot of food. A new clan has joined. Clan Ansgar has joined our tribe. They're hunters. We had some new hunters join. They love to be in the honor profession. They also, when they show up, they add 2 alcohol, 2 grapes, and 2 olives to the stockpile. I guess this is that food. But they have -1 power. So they're likely to get quite upset within a year if forced into an active profession outside the settlement or a warrior profession. But they're also likely to get upset within a year if forced into a profession outside of the honor tree.
Okay.
So that's problematic because those 2 things are the same. For us, currently, we don't know any honor professions that aren't active professions outside,
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you to construct a logging camp. Get me some timber. The logging camp eventually depletes its tiles available timber, and when this happens, it shuts down and the forest is replaced with brush.
Yes.
So you had okay. Getting a little ahead of me. You had this is the thing you've been talking about a lot, was how disappointed you were that resources don't broadly deplete, and that things are not like this. You were really looking forward to this idea. Can you illuminate for us a little bit why this is so important to you?
I mean, because that's approaching these as games that are trying to express something about history or human nature, which may not be why most people play these games, but it's certainly my point of interest. Things get depleted over time, and then people have to move elsewhere, or they need to manage those resources, like manage a forest, so they're not depleting it too aggressively over time. And the thing where a forest is or a mine is always producing stuff for thousands of years consistently at a consistent rate is just bananas, is nonsense. And it doesn't really explain why people go exploring, why people go to other places searching for new resources.
So again, we've talked a lot about your obsession with modeling, and
my profession.
Your profession that literally puts food in my mouth or whatever. We talked before about how you have this tendency to be frustrated by things that don't model in the ways that you're used to. I hesitate to even say well, because the models you're used to also don't model things.
All models are bad, but some models are useful.
Yeah, but the specific value of modeling this thing is that this is one of the pressures that cause people to move from place to place and expand and come into conflict, and like all of the things that these games are about specifically.
Yeah. And that should be extremely a part of things when we're talking about migrations of these tribal Germanic peoples. They didn't just show up at the gates of Rome because they were evil barbarians. That's certainly how the Romans would have phrased it, but it's about not having resources, not having land, being driven out by other people trying to compete for resources. If I have less qualms about it in the more fantastical settings, but if you're going to be playing with history in this way, I feel like if you don't model that stuff, then you are recreating a lot of not just bad history, but history that is potentially damaging or problematic, that
Right.
incorporates like culturally noxious attitudes. And I think the Civ games especially do that. And so fuck yeah, I'm really glad to see trees being depleted here.
So here's the thing: we have met Alboin of the Lombards.
Cool.
He has something to discuss, and Attila also wants our attention. So Alboin of the Lombards, a greedy, meek Aryan Christian, says, we're getting a little close to my territory. I'm sorry, buddy. I disagree.
Look at this guy.
So this would repair our reputation a little bit. People will be like, oh, okay, they can stand up for themselves. But obviously he won't like it very much. Now this man has a lot of enemies. And we are numbered among them. Also, sweetie, do not cough directly into the microphone.
Sorry.
Covering your mouth with your hand doesn't actually help.
Sorry.
You gotta.
I usually hit mute on the Discord,
Yeah,
and I can't do that here.
I mean, you do have a physical mute button on your microphone, don't you?
Yeah, but I got
Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry.
So I don't know who this guy is in terms of. Is this his stuff? Because there's this yellow territory and there's this red territory, and I don't actually know who the yellow player is. Like, and it's not super clear to me. Can we see a display of like the players? We can't, right?
No, I don't think so.
There's like a fort here. Okay, this is a watchtower that belongs to the Huns.
Okay.
So yellow is the Huns, and I guess this must be the other guy's territory.
Okay.
Boy, it sure should be like a lot more obvious, don't you think? This shows this thing, which is the people symbol, shows us just our clans, not like the other players of the world. I mean, listen, man, I can't not go near your territory. So we can tell him, I'm sorry, but I disagree, and lose 1 influence and 1 reputation level. This is just our influence with him.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to spend with this leader. Or we can really tell him to fuck off and get an extra point of reputation, but this hurts our influence and relation level 4 times as badly. I have no idea what these numbers even mean. I'm not afraid. Here's the thing. This guy's got too many enemies. I'm not afraid of him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh.
Well, now he's disgusted.
That's fine. If you know what's good for me, you'll offer me a token of your appreciation. Well, the thing about that is I already decided that we're telling you to fuck off, so don't make me laugh.
You fool.
My assumption is that we are already basically in the worst place we could be with him after that first thing, so.
Yeah.
Attila, what's up? I entered your sovereign territory. Okay. Whatever, man.
Oh, we did do that. Yeah.
But like we're like literally blocked in. I actually can't play the game without doing that at least a little bit. Also, this turn a caravan came to visit. I have 90 wealth, and these are the things that this caravan has. We can buy some stuff. We got a weapon. One of our clans brought a single weapon. So we could sell that, I suppose. But we have plenty of treasure. It's just like a matter of what do we need. Timber seems really important. We're going to gather timber naturally, but also we have a lot of treasure, and timber seems really important.
Okay. Tools also are important. I know we're
Tools also seem important. 35 treasure. We can put all that treasure down and still have more treasure than the other clans start with. And then I don't honestly have any idea what else we might
Can we
want.
upgrade the caravan? What does that mean?
You can spend treasure to bribe the caravan owner to bring larger and more diverse quantity of goods, starting with the next time they visit. The cost of doing so doubles each time. After spending 40 treasure, future caravans will reliably but not always have additional wheat, timber, weapons, tools, cloth, flax. I mean, it seems good. We're going to be out of treasure if we do that, but we can, generate things to sell.
Yeah.
I'm into it. It's also worth noting we have a couple of alcohol that were brought in by some of our clan, some of our clans, and it doesn't really seem like if we need alcohol, I'm sure we're going to need more than 2, so we'll need to figure out a way to produce it anyway.
Yeah.
And it sells really well.
Okay. Why don't we sell
I'd be
it?
inclined to just sell the 2 alcohol that we have.
All right.
And that way we still have some treasure to work with. I don't know if we want to buy anything else. Weapons. Expensive, but also living is good.
Yeah. Now, I have a unrelated question.
Because that puts us at 5 weapons, and that feels like the amount you would need to do an upgrade, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So Attila is pagan, and the Lombard guy is a Christian who's an Arian Christian. This Arianism, which of course is the belief that time travel is not possible, that Jesus cannot coexist with God but came after God as his son, and was not the same substance.
Yeah, you say of course. This is not a thing that I have any familiarity with.
Yeah, it was actually a big part of the early church, and the first church council, the Council of Nicaea, was to decide that. And I used to be a church kid, so I know a thing or two about that. But what do we have a faith, a religion?
That's a great
Is
question.
there a way to find out?
We haven't been given any reason to think that we do. Attila of the Huns has something to discuss. getting a little too close to my territory. You built your territory across the whole fucking world, my man.
I mean, that's how he do.
I can't tell him. My concern here is if I tell him I'll stay away, and then it turns out we didn't, which we won't. That will deal even more damage to our influence than just telling him right now that I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Relationship level -5 with Attila the Hun. Great. At the Gates has the coolest tooltips of any game ever made. I do believe that the nested tooltips were a fairly unique feature. I don't think this is a thing a lot of other games have.
Okay, but I do appreciate the absolute confidence.
It's okay to be excited about your thing. If you made a thing that's rad, I think it's cool to be excited about it. The game has several hotkeys to assist in navigating the interface, which will appear when mousing over things that have a corresponding key. Most important keys are the spacebar, which opens the clan screen, and enter, which ends the turn or activates the next. It's this button. Enter is this button. We're good. That's not my most pressing concern. So we have some kind of mineral deposit here. I've sent our digger down onto it. Go forth and identify my man. He's working on it. It will take 4 turns. He's put down his little 4 flag.
I appreciate the flag showing how much time there's.
That's nice. Our farmer can't put up a farm because building the 2 different kinds of farm buildings require either stone blocks or timber. We do not have 30 timber. We're working on it. We got a guy. We got people. We're trying. So while they're all trying, our explorer is over here just explorating, and I don't really know what to do except just keep running. We're getting a little bit further away from like reality. You're just kind of waiting for enough timber to exist. But I kind of wanted to separate our clans a little bit because we had too many people who are like potentially going to be at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Too many people who are too eager to get into trouble. So, at minus 0.7 food per turn, potentially rising to 0.8 any minute now, we have 14 turns worth of food left. The game helpfully informs us. There's 14 turns worth of food in the stockpile. And indeed, we have gained a new clan. Okay, so we've got ourselves now a logging camp. +1 timber per turn, degrading in 24 turns, reducing its production by half. As time passes, logging camps slowly consume their available resources. After a structure degrades 2 times, it's considered fully exhausted. Okay, but this clan now lives here, just working here, gathering timber. That's not very fast, considering the amount that we need.
Yeah.
It's not very fast at all. I am a little concerned. We gained access to Clan Bader with quite a mug there. Thorough and stubborn. 2 additional turns to train when switching disciplines. And they might get into trouble sometimes with the others. Okay, well, you're just gonna live here for a while, friend. I don't really know what to tell you. Oh, look at that, it's raining. So there's weather systems, too. I wonder how complicated those are. So there's still just like supply. So you see these grassland tiles have 3 supply. These step tiles have 2, and the hill step tiles only have 1. I don't know exactly how much supply we need to be safe. During the summer, most clans will be able to freely collect what they need from their tile, but it is no longer the case once it becomes cold. At this point, a unit may need to encamp to avoid taking damage. Some units require more than 1 supply point. Okay, so as long as you're getting 1 supply point for a basic unit, you're fine. Well, let me... I actually do kind of want to go up into the hills a little bit because I would love to see... So it looks to me like... I don't know how it is that we, like, expand... It looks to me like there's an area that's a lot less competed for over here, right? And that's the thing that I would be interested in being part of. Okay, our hunter should probably come home. There's not a lot of animals out here. What do you think of like this? There are like suggestions of things that you haven't yet seen. Rumors here of an unidentified plant. Rumors of a Hunnic wheat farm being represented as like sketches on your paper map.
I mean, that's neat.
This is a cool,
Yeah.
a cool visual system, I think. Boy. Could they like? I don't know exactly what the plan is for the hunters as far as like getting food back home. You know?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. That's like a real military unit. That's an entire Roman legion.
That is.
Talk to me about the stats of a Roman legion. 7. Is that their power? No, that's a level 7 profession. How do I know this unit's power stats? 30. 30 is its power.
Yeah.
Amabel,
Yeah, that's about right.
what do you mean that's about right? Our hunter has 1.
Yeah.
2. Sorry. Because he's a... you have 2 because you're a plus power...
I mean,
dutiful to say. Okay.
I mean, generally in a pitched battle, Roman legions
Annabelle,
definitely.
I am not interested in accurate representation of reality. I am interested in living.
I mean, but that's the kind of threat that the Roman legions would pose. That's why
I'm interested
if you look
in
at
game mechanics right now.
if you look at victories,
Yeah.
won over the Romans on a battlefield level, it tends to be a result of ambushes or guerrilla tactics. If you look at a more strategic level, it is just bogging them down in a quagmire where they spend 20 years trying to put you down. That's more earlier empire, because by this, whatever year this is, whatever point in time this is, I mean, if there's Arian Christianity, then this is at least the 300s or 400s. AD.
I think it says a date at the beginning of the turn, doesn't it?
I don't remember.
I think it was like 400 AD.
Okay. Well, then by this point, a lot of the Roman legions, of course, are
early August.
are peoples from these kind of tribes who come and join.
The Picts to do the Huns. Oops.
What? Oh no. Oh no. Because one of the myths
It's
of
like an old battlefield.
well, so check that out. One of the myths of the fall of the Roman Empire was something about like the Romans being corrupted from the outsiders and whatnot, and that's some xenophobic bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing that really caused the Romans to close down as an empire really is a number of factors, but one of them is shutting out migration and Phalans, you fuck. You
Wow,
fuck
okay.
boy.
All right. So relationship level +3. He likes us. +1 for shared religious beliefs.
Okay, so we are also. Gotcha.
-2 for being nice to enemy the Huns. +2 for being mean to enemy the Huns. Plus an additional 2 for being mean to enemy the Lombards. Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad that my reputation precedes me. The Picts to do the Huns, you know? Don't I know it? I assume that's declared war on? Or declared an alliance with? It's one of those two, probably.
That's
Listen, I don't know things about stuff.
I mean, that's kind of.
Clan Ansgar has developed an interest in something. Clan Ansgar has expressed interest in switching to a settled profession. Clan Alman is now a reaper, previously unemployed. Okay, so I was gonna. My plan with Clan Alman was I was gonna send them over to here and reap some wheat. So who is Clan Ansgar? Yeah, they want to be settled, but like, All right, let's train them in a settled profession. Which is like none of this shit's a settled profession, right? We don't have any settled professions.
So let's look at our.
I mean, I'm learning blacksmiths. That's a settled profession.
Then they can hold on.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to wait. These guys, they hate switching disciplines. It's gonna take us 1,000,000 turns to make them into anything. I mean, I think I'm gonna make them into. We need more wood collection. Honestly, our scout's running around and kind of like. Our scout cannot identify animals, right? No. So I was gonna have our hunter come over here and identify all these animals. This guy is just waiting forever. It takes so much longer to gather the timber than I was hoping.
So the pace of the game, I mean, all these games have kind of incremental pacing.
Yes, this one does not seem to be. If anything, it seems to be more incremental.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like a much slower pace than what we're used to. But also, it is trying to model at like a 2 turns per month, like a consistent.
Yeah, it's a much
scale.
Sort of a much tighter zoom. I feel like than a lot of these games did, especially like Civ in the early game. The early turns are like hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
Identified a large coal deposit. Well, forage for coal then, buddy. You can forage for wheat. You can't forage because you're a farmer, and farmers don't know how to forage. Clan Ivo has joined our tribe. Though our rugged homeland might be too dangerous to live in now, we still know it like the back of our hands. Because they're hillmen. It does not cost them move points to enter hill tiles on account of being hillmen. They have started in the gatherer profession, and they would like to stay that way, please.
We'll go gather some stuff. We need food.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot to gather. We don't have like a lot of loose berries or anything.
One thing I definitely never mind.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a thought and then
all mountains.
I decided the thought was not worth sharing, so
Okay.
blacksmiths.
Yeah, we know blacksmithing now. I don't know how helpful it is.
Well, turn those guys into blacksmiths so we can make tools.
No, we don't have any iron. Tools cost iron, baby.
Well, they want to be a settled profession.
Well, they can fucking wait on that one.
All right.
They could just take a nap. How about that? So, settled professions, does that just mean people who want to stay in the main territory? Or, like, is this guy a settled profession? Because he goes and he constructs a camp and then he lives in the camp?
That's a great question.
I don't actually know. I need a tooltip. Or I just need to look up settled profession. Professions. Okay, settled professions remain inside the settlement, so it's not the ones who go out and build their own buildings. Okay, that's what I thought. So I'm trying to think like what's a settled profession we could get for them that would make a little more sense, right?
Yeah, that keeps them within their honor. They want an honor profession as well, do they not?
That's true. They do. Watchmen, extend your borders. Feastmasters. Huntsmen, archers. Let's pick up honor, and we'll see if we can get to something. We can make them feastmasters who just don't act. Amabel.
Yeah.
Plus 3.6 food per turn. Look at that.
Well,
Look at all the wheat. Look at all the wheat.
Okay, that's pretty good.
We're not going to die in the next 10 minutes. I don't know. What do you think of this system? Like Personally, I find this to be a little too micromanaging. I don't necessarily want to have control of my people at this level, where I'm deciding what individual families are doing.
But I think the way that represents the structure as we understand it of those peoples at that time, I think that
Sure.
like I think you can do that in a way that's a bit more broad strokes still. Like I think maybe this is an overcorrection. I will say the ways in which perhaps the game feels more opaque than some of the. There's a lot of, well, what does that mean, and how do I get this in a way that is my general experience trying to play these games, but is not typically yours, I don't think. And I guess this, because this is a thing that's basically a one-man show, or him and his pals. I'm not sure exactly.
So what I found was that there are like 3 recorded employees working on it. I believe nobody was paid. Hold on a second. I'm gonna save the game. Sure,
Okay.
we're gonna name it quick save. That's not what a quick save is, but fine. And look, there's our world seed in case you want to play along. And then we've hit the hour here. I'm gonna pop back to the menu. We can pull up the credits while we're having this conversation. My understanding is that it was the work of 3 people. These 3 people. It looks like at some point a 4th person was added. Jon Shafer is most of it.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm used to in the genre, but that's because they are essentially a kind of AAA game, they have a certain level of polish and approachability that you're not going to get with a small team or a single person. So I think a lot of the ways in which it's very different but I think there's a lot of things where I'm having a harder time grasping how the pieces fit together.
Yeah, I think it is to some extent a choice.
Sure.
Because certainly there are a lot of very small indie projects that are extremely approachable, that really front.
Yeah.
They really front their sort of visual appeal.
In the 4X space, though?
Well, there's not a lot of small 4X games at all, but like I would argue Slipways is very...
Okay, no, that's fair.
Slipways is a very appealing sort of reach out and touch it kind of vibe. And that's, largely the work of a single person with some support staff.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be critical, to be clear. Because I do think...
Okay. I am. What I'm saying is I think it's fair to be a little more critical maybe than you're being. Because I do, like, it looks like this because he chose for it to look like this.
Right.
Is maybe a fair way to put it. And that's not 100% the case. If he had an infinite budget, obviously it would look different. But given the resources he did have, he was like, these are the things that are less important.
I guess what I'm driving at...
I will say, looking at that list of credits, I did not realize that Fable Siegel had worked on this game at all. And that's just very interesting to me. Fable Siegel is credited with the unit paintings.
Okay.
Fable Siegel is a person who worked in animation and stuff and created a webcomic called Lackadaisy that I enjoy very much, and that's just gone on to, they're sort of making it into a cartoon and everything, and it's rad. Shout out to Fable Siegel, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think what I was trying to get across there is that there's a way in which I have a hard time getting a hold of the shape of the game, a way in which it feels a little more aimless is harsh. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I think it has an aim. I think it's quite an obvious aim. It's just kind of not the thing that I'm usually here for.
I mean, you as a player, I'm not sure what we're aiming to.
I know. I think I think that's we're aimed toward making use of the resources that are around us toward just general strengthening. This is the same thing that happens in every 4X.
Okay.
Get stronger, get more capable. Use the resources around you to get stronger and more capable. That's the exploit.
I would like to
In the
know
X's.
how we do the expand.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing. Like, I think we may have generated kind of a whack position here because we started on a peninsula where access to the mainland is completely closed off by someone else's well-established territory. My guess is that probably doesn't always happen. So it's a unique challenge, or maybe we'll just restart. I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well,
There's gonna be at least a couple more episodes of this. Obviously, we need to see the arc through a bit. So that is gonna be it though for us for today. It's a lot of trouble.
a lot of
There's a
trouble.
lot of trouble getting into all this juice. So I hope that it is worth it.
Yeah.
When you come back next time, I guess we will continue to find out whether it is, and we'll see you then.